Wilson's 14 Points of 1918. President Woodrow Wilson presented his 14-point peace plan to Congress just 2 months after the German surrender.
Woodrow Wilson's 14 Points is the high point in idealism in American foreign policy. Woodrow Wilson intended to end history, in a sense, to move a quantum leap towards a rule-governed, law-governed international relations in which force would be supplanted by right. Now, this is a wonderful idea, but it's very hard to actually realize any utopian scheme, and the problem with Woodrow Wilson is that he was utopian.
It outlined his plan for building peace in the post-war world. 9 of the 14 points deal with self-determination, the right of all nations to govern themselves, free from outside interference. Other points deal with the causes of modern warfare, like secret diplomacy, the arms race, violation of freedom of the seas, and trade barriers. The final point was a key one: the establishment of a League of Nations.
The League of Nations idea of Wilson never really entices the American government, and they never participate to the level that Wilson desired, mainly because the Americans felt it would drag them into war, and Europe really takes the concept further without the Americans participating.
The League of Nations was dear to Wilson's heart. It would require that each member nation respect and preserve the independence and territorial integrity of all other member nations.
Now, the 14 points are actually derived from a German idealist writer named Immanuel Kant. He wrote an essay called Perpetual Peace, in which he sketched out every single article, or the idea behind every single article in the 14 points. The idea is that each nation should be self-governing and self-determining, that colonies should not be bought and sold between colonial powers, that war should be abolished and arbitration should replace the kind of ultimate resource for resolving international disputes, and that a League of Nations should be created. Kant thought that up at the end of the 18th century. Woodrow Wilson, because he started his career as a professor of politics at Princeton, decided that this was an excellent idea, that what we really need was a greater legal connection between nations, which would essentially erode the authority and sovereignty of the nation state. The problem with the 14 points is not that they perhaps aren't an attractive idea, it's that their attraction is primarily theoretical rather than practical. Most of the nations of Western Europe refuse to take seriously the idea of the 14 points.
The American people warmly received the 14 points, but it had a difficult time in Congress. The Allied powers' reaction, likewise, was lukewarm.
As Clemenceau, the Premier of France, said, "God gave us the 10 Commandments and we broke them. Wilson has given us his 14 points and we shall see."